and
Mm.
wondering if that is still the case. I mean, StarCraft is one of those games where players do generally have a certain style for quite a while, but it's not uncommon to see someone prepare if they take it seriously and have something catered for their opponent, something a little bit different. But that said, though, KOB did have to download the patch today. So are they
Yeah,
really
man.
practicing heaps? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean his name has been around a little bit. I think Simon has been around as well. There are some newer faces that we may see. I'm not sure if these guys are going to play the same group of players or not for the Pro League, but yeah, I think See the Vesmir Mike is the one to keep an eye on. But at the moment, we are loaded into the first map. It is once again Blue Shift. And hopping on the death cam, we will see in the bottom left the blue Protoss for the Vietnamese All-Stars, QB.
I'm also going to log on to the camera of death. And in the top right, representing SYF, this is Crimson, Uncle Ben himself. Lovely gentleman. Always a pleasure to hang out with anytime we're at a LAN.
Oh,
He is a gentle soul, a fun guy to talk to. Really takes StarCraft extremely seriously as well. He's one of those players that isn't just a grinder of games, he's a thinker as well. He really thinks about the game. It's not just about getting mechanical practice. Sometimes you just got to sit there and analyze your stuff. And Crimson is a very good analyst, very smart player. Wow.
He's also a great stream to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very annoying from QB here to block that natural go ahead with the pylon. Crimson's just like not having any of that. He's going to take the third base location straight away and head into gas and pool. Rory Brothers trying to deal with that natural area, which QB is still going to stick around.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty common for Protoss to send that probe out a little bit earlier to try and block that natural. And as a result, extremely common for Zergs to just take the third instead and take the natural a little bit later. I mean, that probe's not going to be there forever. He cancelled that pylon. And QB's not making a forge back at home. There's no kind of cannon rushing like that. It's a pretty regular gateway expand on the other side of things. Just trying to get inside Crimson's head a little bit, I guess. It doesn't really do a whole lot for the Protoss, to be honest.
No.
All he's done is kind of spent 25 minerals for not much yield because he cancelled the pylon.
Exactly. It's just annoying. And is maybe not ideal for your creep spread in the early game and that sort of stuff. Yeah, we'll see how we go. It looks like it's just about time to take another hatch. Or at least clear that natural out as he gets a couple of lings at long last. And hopefully he can swing into a more normal looking macro game.
Yeah, well, we've got a Stargate opening here from QB. A very, very stock standard vanilla opening here for QB. A pumpkin spice Protoss PVZ opening here. A very basic Protoss opening. This is just what every Protoss likes to do. Most Protosses in Europe and Korea like to do this. And yeah, it's going to use that adept for a little bit of map control. And there's that third hatchery plopped, just as I say that, for Crimson back at home.
Yep. Can't really go wrong with a Stargate opener, can you? He's going to pop in for a visit with good old adept friend. Now, a couple of lings and a queen are there to meet her. And they're going to head over into the main as well, see if there's anything to scout there just with that shade. Probably not going to go too deep on that for the moment. The Overlord of Crimson does actually get a bit of a scout down at the natural area. He hasn't seen the Stargate or anything there.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, he is just kind of blindly going to respond to Stargate because so many Protosses do it. There's a Phoenix out first. Oh, looks like he's going to kill the Adept. That's a nice pick off. Does lose a couple drones there to one Adept, which does sting, but the big deal is to make sure that he gets Spore Crawlers up, the Queens are in position, and that the Oracle doesn't do too much more follow-up damage. Because the Phoenix is out as well, it can always lift up those Queens and make defending a little bit harder for Zerg. Also going to pick off this Overlord, and that's going to supply block Crimson for a touch here. He does have two more on the way, but it's a little bit annoying.
Yeah, a bit annoying because he was already a little bit supply blocked, so he's got to pop one extra in the production queue there. And you see the extra couple of spores popping in as well, and he's just going to keep droning. The nice thing about Stargate is if you're prepared for it, you kind of have a chill time. You've got a lot of room to drone up and get to that economy that you want. before you start thinking about units and trying to react to the next wave that the Protoss is probably going to send at you. So let's see if this Oracle is actually able to pick off any drones. Might be able to find a couple around the edges.
It doesn't have any Phoenix support here with the Queen and Spore Crawler. Minimal drone damage. Gets deflected from the main base. Just trying to find another angle here. Has activated Pulsar Beam already, so is using a little bit of juice at the moment. Already lost a lot of hit points, actually, so I don't think that Oracle's going to be there for a while. A lot of gateways going down here with Resonating Glaives. Okay. Now, this is the QB I know and love. A bunch of gateways and 2 base going to go for a big Adept attack.
That is quite the spooky attack, so you really need to know that this is coming. Keeping an eye on the fact that there's no third will help you sort of predict what's about to come hit you. Unfortunately, he did lose the Overlord near the natural, so I don't think he's had the chance to double check that gap and see that, okay, well, he hasn't actually gotten on that.
Cool thing that Crimson is doing, though, is scouting with Lings. I think that QB is trying to say, hey, I'm taking a third base, but I don't think he's taking a third base. I think this is a fakey, a sneaky, cheeky bamboozle. And Crimson is not buying what he's selling. He's not smelling what he's stepping in. He's not eating what he's cooking right now. He's making 14 roaches.
Oh, yeah. And that Warp Prism starts there for QB, and he's going to start heading across the map. The Warp Prism can join him there and act as a nice reinforcement point. And when those shades coming out against those things, he sees exactly what's coming. He's going to try and do some last-minute creep spread here on the front lines. Maybe a little bit too ambitious. I'm not sure any of those are going to finish. The roaches are waiting.
That's right, and that's the most important thing here, is that he engages those Adepts and punishes QB for this big timing attack. He's done nothing but make units for a while here, Crimson. Oh, a little bit of miscontrol there. The roaches getting split up a little bit incorrectly. Some of those drones getting down to the Adepts. It actually looks like maybe too many roaches here at the third base, attacking into those Adepts. They're going for the main. Most of these Adepts are still higher in hit points. The ones on the left getting softened up a little bit. Crimson needs to consolidate these roaches and start finishing off these Adepts. Look at the worker count differences. Crimson, if he can clean this up, is in a beautiful spot.
He will be, but he is going to lose some workers here and there. The hard thing about dealing with the Adepts is that they're quite slippery. They end up in multiple places at once, and splitting your army is tricky. The Oracle comes in at the last minute to try and help out. Just kind of missed the party, though. But does take out another Queen. 15 workers are being killed so far, but it looks like he has deflected the attack.
He certainly has, and considering he's got that third base and he's just re-droning, he still has Queens back at home. Crimson is just fine. In fact, he's in a pretty good spot. He's floating a little bit of money right now, just trying to decide what he wants to do with it. Actually, a lot of that has to do with the fact that he's just spent all these lava. But with that bank, Crimson can actually tech up as well. He wants to go up in a lair. Like, the map is his. He can do whatever he likes. QB did not find as much as he wanted with that timing attack.
And he deflects him out of there. Even moving the Spore forward to make sure that that's not a warp-in point straight into the main. Force him to reposition a little bit. And he's coming in with a huge bulk of units on the bottom side. Now Crimson is pulling towards that position, but he also sees the other lot of units trying to sneak into the natural at the same time. Now he's actually not in position, so he will lose a few more workers here as he pulls back to try and deal with that.
Yeah, Crimson not looking for a second here. QB punishing him for it. Most of the Adepts are down here to the south. There's quite a few roaches here for Crimson. He's got a bit of transfusion energy on one of those Queens, and he is starting to transfuse those roaches and standing and fighting. That Immortal is doing serious damage here for QB. Crimson starting to lose some footing in the main base. Looks like the third is going to be covered here. Target firing down that Immortal. No Prism to save it. It gets taken down. How's the main base looking? Crimson trying to catch these retreating Adepts. They're very low in hit points with these roaches. The Prism is actually reinforcing Adepts from the north-hand side. That's a bold shade there.
He's actually done a really good job at being multiple places at once, trying to get as much damage as possible. He's now at 29 workers killed, and you can see Crimson is actually now less than QB in the worker count. It looks like Crimson's maybe a bit across the north as QB down here in the south comes into the third, picks off even more drones. And Crimson's just kind of playing catch-up at the moment.
Yeah, this really stings now. The worker kills were looking pretty good earlier in the game, but QB definitely found an opening in the defense of Crimson and got some serious econ damage done. I actually wouldn't hate for Crimson to go across the map with these roaches and try and punish QB for those big committing attacks. At the moment, it just looks like Crimson is still making Roaches getting plus 2 attack, Roach speed. I think with Roach speed finishing up, going for an attack really is not a terrible decision for Crimson. Spend some of that gas, get some Ravages up. Unfortunately, supply blocks at the moment, so he can't make any more Ravages. But just imagine if he attacked with his Roach army and a bunch of Ravages right now. It'd be tough for QB to hold.
Yeah, I think he's listening, man. He looks like he's keen to try and get something done, even if it's just to put a bit of pressure on. Let's not forget that QB doesn't have a third base. He's just looking like he's gearing up for a round 2 attack.
Ooh.
Crimson comes in from a couple of angles, dodges those force fields. Does he have enough to actually break through here, though? He's doing a good amount of damage, but the Immortals in the back are doing a fantastic effort against some of these.
Yeah. I mean, Crimson dived very deep there for those Immortals and did not get them. He is starting to break that front line, though. Also defending a counterattack from QB, trying to go for some more harassment in the main base. Crimson is starting to push QB back. QB only has 1 shield battery here, and once that's drained, there is no more static defense. The Biles connecting and killing an Immortal as well. QB not looking, not paying attention, not microing well enough. Crimson is still pressing the issue. He's got 6 Ravages on the front door here. That Phoenix can lift maybe 1 unit up, but that's about all of its utility.
Oh my god, those pylons can get hit by the Biles at the same time, and he's squeezing through the gap there. Force field's not really going to hold him because he can just break that with another Bile, and he's through, and despite losing so much, he was still a 3-base Zerg with enough money to make a force with which he can counterattack, and now QB is slowly falling apart.
Yeah, this is all Crimson now. There's 1 Immortal here, but it's low in hit points. Hardened Shield has been cracked, and Crimson is in. Gets a point on the board for SYF. They're very dicey PBZ there. But good reads and a good recovery and a great decision to go for that counterattack with a bunch of Ravages. It looked like he had so much army supply. Why not try and get the job done?
Yeah, GG. Well done to Crimson. He is now 11-1 overall in all the seasons of Pro League we've had so far, wins to losses. So he's still looking really strong. But I got to say, QB is one of the few players that has made him work for it pretty hard.
Yeah, that was a lot closer than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I feel like QB is a very, very scary Protoss for sure. Definitely could see him beating someone of Crimson's level. But I would say that if this was like a best of 5 or something, that I would still very heavily favor Crimson. He is the veteran.
Yeah.
He did read that game very, very well. It's a shame that those adepts got in there and killed so many drones,
Dude,
forcing his hand a little bit.
so hard.
Yeah,
it feels like Lings die too fast and Roaches are a little bit too slow to stop them from getting in your mineral lines and stuff. So it is a hard strategy to fight against, and I think QB picked a really good one too. It looked promising. It really did. But Crimson comes out on top.
You don't see Mass Adept much anymore. I think maybe Crimson was expecting like a charge lot all in, because that's a little bit more common. But either way, like Roaches are just fine against Mass Adept as against charge lots as well. So just making Roaches. It's the answer.
That's it. So we'll be hopping into map number 2 shortly, which is going to be Cerulean Fall. We've got Hut, a Terran player, going up against the Protoss Simon.
And I will be real with you guys. I know nothing about Justice Simon or Simon. I have not seen this player before, never cast before. Hut, however, I think I've cast maybe 900,000 times, maybe 900,001. How many times would you say? I think a lot of them have been casting with you, the Hut.
Probably.
Those ACL days. Never forget.
How could I? Yeah. Simon is, I don't believe he's a new player. I think he's been around a little while. I feel like I casted him like long ago, but I cannot confirm nor deny that. Maybe like a couple of years ago. So it's not like he's a new player. Will he be favored against Hut? I don't think so. And that's not really to say anything against him. I mean, most players in the region aren't favored against Hut, but
yeah, and just to touch on that, like if you look at Hut and you look at Seether, the reason why I'm favoring SYF so heavily is the list of people that can beat them consistently is extremely short. I just kind of like I said, like maybe Probe on a really good day, Demilove on a good day, Crimson who's super switched on. I think I've seen Peppy take a map. I don't know if I've cast him winning a series, but I'm pretty sure I've seen some of these Zergs. get some maps off these kids, but series is?
Mm.
Wonderful thing about Pro League is the best of one is all you need. You just got to win that one map. So can the
Yeah,
miracle
I
happen here
mean,
for Vietnamese?
Hut hasn't always had the best of luck in the Pro League so far. He has been taken out quite a few times, and he has won a few times as well. So we'll have to see how this one goes. I mean, if Simon can play it all like QB, then I'd better not underestimate him. So, let's introduce these players. In the teal color up in the top right, representing SYF, he is Hut.
And in the bottom left, in the yellow, representing the Vietnamese All-Stars, this is Simon, or Justice Simon. Rip Snoot. 200 ping.
Ouch.
Feels bad.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to get a rehost happening. I don't know if the... is this the server that they generally plays on? I don't know. It's not really...
I think
it's not really something that we
the
generally have
Australian
to worry about. But yeah.
It's kind of...
I think because... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, you hang up.
Yeah, I think by default it's supposed to be the Australian server, but you can negotiate. But I think it's kind of up to the kindness of the players of whether or not they want to pick a different server.
Yeah. I mean, it is ANZ Pro League, so you would have to play on the Australian server, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Hopefully it doesn't affect him too much. I can imagine that for Vietnamese players it's a bit hit and miss.
Well, I mean, you don't need a ton of ping to A, left click with 1,000 charge loss, right?
Wow. Throwing shade. Come on, man. Protoss is a highly skilled race.
It actually is. I actually cannot control a late game Protoss army. I've played all three races. I'm not very good at any of them. Even my main race, Terran, I'm not very good at it. But I cannot control late game Protoss armies, man. Especially when it's like the pre 4.0 disruptor, when you actually have to micro the disruptor ball, and you have sentries, and you have like, oh, just missed that probe.
Oh,
He's looking for proxies, but just missed the probe.
that's unfortunate. Well, we'll see if he does anything with that probe or if he just comes in for another scout. I like how thorough Hut's being there, having a good look around his immediate area to make sure he can spot anything that's peeking. Oh, this is literally the worst.
Dude.
When the probe comes back.
Shaking in rage again. But you know, this is just something that the Protoss is always going to harass with their probe. Why not? It always gives you a little bit of HP damage. He's managed to slow down the Reaper Scout here of Hut. There is a Twilight Council happening back on the other side. So not a Robo expand here for the Protoss. It is Twilight Council, and he's going into Adepts and now a Robotics Facility. It could potentially put on a bit of pressure with a Warp Prism. It could also just be defensive with the Robotics Facility. There's a few paths that a Protoss can take here. And I'm wondering, like, is Simon the more aggressive brand of Protoss, like QB, like his teammate, or does he like to play the later stages of the game? Resonating Glaive's going down here.
Yeah,
How
I think
quaint.
that helps answer your question a little bit. These guys like their glaives. I actually really like the glaive strategy coming out from Protosses because it's not like the most in style at the moment. I don't think so. At least not in our region. Like you don't see it that much. So it can be a nice little surprise if you're a Protoss player trying to ruin someone's day. But we'll see how he goes. We've got a Cyclone out for Hut. He's kind of patrolling that on the edge, looking for any unwelcome visitors. And heading into that first medevac where he might be able to do a bit of drop.
Yeah, the best tool that Hut has here for dealing with, like, this ball of gateway units, which looks like, someone's going to try and pressure with a little bit. Oh, nice scout there by Hut, by the way. Sees more than one Adept. I think he saw the other couple. Sees the Twilight Council and the Robotics Facility getting chronoed. This is a big tell.
Yeah.
I really want to know if he actually saw those 3 Adepts. I'm going to check his vision real quick. He would have, I think.
Yeah, I think he did.
So
yeah.
That's a pretty big tell. That means that what's coming out of there is obviously not going to be Blink. It's very unlikely going to be Charge. So Resonating Glaives, Adepts is what he needs to deal with. Widow Mines, Marines, they're going to be the key to victory here. Raven's on the way here for Hut. And, I mean, a good anti-armor missile can always be nice.
Yeah, and unfortunately that observer missed the drop that's coming out here, so he's actually got a completely nude natural. And he's gonna get a visit from a couple of mines here. Uh-oh, he's not watching. Oh no, oh my
reaction
God.
there. Oh, fuck. Ouchies. 9 probes going down.
Yeah. And a couple of Marines getting dropped here with another mine. He's being a bit of a bother and he evacuates, even saves the mines. And that Cyclone gets a head start on starting to pick away at that warp prism. The Marines come in as well. Looks like this gets shut down before it even really gets started.
An interference matrix there on the pile on the warp prism that completely shuts down the ability to warp in, and that was a very easy cleanup there for Hut. And considering he did the econ damage on the other side of the map as well, he is wearing the daddy pants right now in this game.
Yeah, he's looking real good. This is like the ideal current position. You know, you shut down the aggression from the Protoss, you killed a bunch of workers. The world is your oyster. I mean, he's ahead on basically everything at the moment. The Protoss does have a fair chunk of units though, and it looks like he's going to try and get something happening here. He did invest a bit into the ability to make a whole bunch of units that do a decent amount of damage. But I'm not sure he's really going to be able to do much now that there's 2 siege tanks and a whole bunch of Marines sitting there waiting for anyone to try and attack into that.
Gets that observer there. That's going to hurt things for Simon a little bit as well, because he's going to have to be shading in blind into a natural against a Terran with siege tanks, Widow mines, and a ball of Marines. Not a situation you really want to be in here, but Simon, you know, hasn't been making probes for the past minute or so. Has just gotten a bunch of gateways, a bunch of adepts, and he's playing almost exactly like QB. Playing for a big 8 gateway all-in, 7 or 8 gateway all-in.
Drop number 2 is here. The mines get to borrow, and he's not even pulling away. Oh no, I really pulled in the wrong direction. Oh no.
I was about to say, I wouldn't be surprised if Simon just taps out after that shade. GG.
The poor thing. Very nicely done from Hut. Very clean win, and SYF now is on match point, going up 2-0 so far. Maynard, this could be the quickest cast we've ever done together.
I mean, it'd be up there. I can't think of anything that's shorter than this. This is indeed a 3-0. And I mean, we got, is it See the Miyamaka coming up?
Yes. It all rests
I
on
Miyamaka.
I
want to do the caster thing. You know, I want to do the caster thing and say, hey, you know, Miyamaka is certainly, I would say, the best player from Vietnam. He's the one that's managed to get himself a few tickets overseas to play in some big money lands here in Australia. But this is Seether. I think this is going to be a 3-0.
Yeah.
I really hope it's not, but I'm
I have to agree with you. You know what? Even if Miyamaka does win this one, the thing I'm worried about is that Miyamaka is the obvious choice for Ace here as well. So you are relying on a guy that you can predictably say is going to come out as Ace as well, and SYF. Sorry, I'm like fiddling with my microphone like crazy because I want to stay where it sits. I probably look really silly on the camera right now. But yeah, I mean, like, you just need to have someone that can kill Miyamaka, and you can probably win in the Ace if it comes to that. So I think that's a little bit unfortunate. I don't know, maybe the Vietnamese All-Stars have an Ace up their sleeve that is not him. It would surprise me, but you never know.
If Mio's not going to get it done, I don't think anyone's going to get it done here. It's this is a very, very tough guy for him to be matched up against. It's unfortunate that, you know, Miyamaka doesn't have one of the weaker links in the SYF lineup, but SYF have.
Is there a weak link in the SYF lineup?
That's the counterpoint. Is there a weakest link? I mean, I don't know what level Pez is these days, but he's always been pretty scary.
Dude,
I saw Pez got announced pretty recently on SYF.
Pez is amazing. He is such a great player. So that just really rounds out their comp to me, getting a solid Protoss in there.
Yep. Yeah, it certainly does, actually. The Protoss has actually been a little bit lacking for this way. Anyway, let's introduce the players in the bottom right here. The last hope, the Vietnamese All-Stars. It is Miyamaka.
And in the top left here, I'm the Dreamcatcher in the blue. Haku. He is spicy and he is SYF.
Now, a big question you got to be thinking about when you see Seether is how much Dota is he playing right now? If he's actually practicing StarCraft, he's the best player in Australia. If he's playing tons of Dota, sometimes he's not. That's the only hope I can hope here for Miyamaka is he's playing a lot of Dota and not practicing a ton.
Fact abuse. Calling it now.
Yeah. Calling it.
Yeah. It's funny, remember when Agus used to spend like the entire season playing Dark Souls and then he'd come back and still be really dominant? It's like he got better.
Yeah. It's a weird thing. I find it for myself as well. Like sometimes when I take a break from playing StarCraft 2, I come back after like a couple of weeks and for some reason I'm like a lot more like just quicker, faster APM and stuff. It's weird.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. I've been laddering more lately after another break, and I'm actually doing better. I'm doing better than I usually do, so I've actually kept playing.
You got your starboarder back?
Like I don't know, when do you get the star? Is it like top? Is it?
It's Masters.
Like oh, is that what you mean? I thought you meant like the star you get if you're like top 8 of your league or whatever. No, I'm not Masters yet.
Oh. Soon, TM.
Oh, I don't think so, mate. My wrists are actually not good these days. I'm showing my age.
My wrists have been pretty jank as well. I think so a lot of that has to do with my desk being in a bit of an awkward height. And just being like a giant solid piece of wood. It's not really a malleable desk, so I didn't really think about that one.
Same.
Oh.
Wow, this drone really getting the maximum scouting time in this natural.
I mean, is it really that important to cancel and retake those gas geysers over and over again? I don't.
No, but well, if nothing else, the Reaper's not on your side of the map, I guess.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, it does slow down the Reaper Scout. All right, don't let it finish. That's actually quite a bit of minerals. That's a drone and a gas geyser that's been cancelled once and finished.
Yeah.
Second time.
Yeah, well. Natural finish
87 minerals you spent, by the way. I lost the drone.
Not ideal.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Well, good. Reaper's finally going to pop back over for a visit, see what's happening, see which third he's taking over here. Hopefully he can maybe deny creep tumor or two, because as we saw in the game from Igers earlier, get those queens spreading the creep in all directions and it starts to add up real fast. So anything he can do to try and deny that is good. Fortunately, just missing out on that first active tumor there at the front.
It looks like Seether's trying to grenade that really low hit point creep tumor there. Didn't quite hit the mark. And this is a very regular opening here from Seether with the fast third command center. He's getting a starport switched over onto that tech lab there. Going straight into Banshee, not getting a Viking first. We'll see if he gets Cloak as well. He does have enough gas to be able to afford it. I just haven't seen it just yet. Could just potentially go straight into Stim. Some Terrans actually like to get a Banshee just without gas and get Stim a little bit quicker. But it doesn't slow it down tons. I feel like you can afford both.
Yeah, not too much. Miyamaka, having his lair almost done, will have detection if he needs it, so he's probably not got to think about spores if he was worried about that sort of thing. Taking the drone and making a few extra lings on the field, that can help defensively, but he's also a guy that really likes to poke Terran every chance he gets, so that'll help him do that as well. And this Reaper, I can't believe it's actually getting in here at this time of the game to get another scout, but he does see the finish lair.
Well, you know what would have been a solid scout? That Hydra Den going down in the natural there for Miyamaka. No Bailey Nest, no nothing like that. This is Mio that we know and love, man. Just Ling Hydra. For you guys that aren't, like, you know, part of the scene, I know most people in chat right now are part of the scene. I know these plays quite well. But players that aren't, Miyamaka is kind of like a true. I mean, like the Korean player true, the Psystorm. That whole just going Hydras and mass circling without Banelings is something he's been doing for quite a while. He was going Hydras before it was cool. He's a Hydra hipster.
Yeah, he's got that wacky style. We'll see how he goes. I'm actually interested to see if he plays defensive or if he's looking to push out a little bit and try and bring the fight to see this. So he's gonna head in here maybe with these Hellions and see if he can get up some creep maybe, or he's just gonna sit and
Some
wait
drones
with
would be
those.
nice.
Wow, nice timing for those lings too.
Good reads there from me and Micah. Forcing lift up on that third base. Also pushing back those Hellions. And remember that these Banshees did not get cloaked, so they're very easy for the Hydras to pick off as well. It's actually not a pretty solid start here from me and Micah. Worker count's not too bad either. Drone count's getting up there. 10 more on the way. 4th hatchery as well. I'm really liking it here for the Vietnamese Zerg.
Yeah, things are going swimmingly. He's kind of not really had to deal with too much from Seether. He's got a pretty good force out here. I feel like he doesn't drone up as fast as other players. He's starting to get towards like 65-ish now and making a huge number of overlords, but his tech is starting to get sorted. He's got 2 overchambers coming up. The infestation pit is about to finish too. And yeah, it'll be pretty set by the time that Seether actually moves out here with his first army.
And he's going for the ranged attack upgrade, which is not something you see all the time in ZVT unless you're up against mech. You know, you get your Hydra upgrades and that sort of thing. Generally, if you're up against tank, bio tank, you'll see a lot of Zergs go for that melee upgrade. But Mio getting this, getting also an Infestor as well. This is going to be a pretty interesting unit comp here for Mio. It's actually quite good against bio, all things considered. A ton of Hydras. It's always going to be nice against bio, especially when you're a Terran that's only making siege tanks off of 1 factory. You're going to have a lot of Marines, but the low siege tank count against a ton of Hydras, it's a little tough.
Oh my gosh, there's so much creep here. I mean, any drop that comes in is going to get spotted. So you may as well sit, maybe drop a scan and try and clear up some of those on this end while he's here. Yep, there we go.
Took a long time for me to get over here. He was literally on the other side of his creep spread with his army. It was all together. Okay. Chasing down that medevac now, but Seether did manage to get a few creep shimmers. However, Mio's queens are hard at work, pooping out more creep shimmers to retake that map.
Yeah, it's so hard to control it. I think multi-prong is really nice on this map if you can get that rolling, so that put one up at that 4th base, one down at the 5th base, and try and stretch the Zerg out a little bit. Mia Micah bravely moving out here off creep, gonna start knocking down some rocks, getting himself some.
He doesn't even have muscular augments.
No, he doesn't care, man. He's not afraid.
He's like, I don't want things that keep my Hydras alive or make attacks easier. I'm gonna attack for that. He's just getting the rocks, and I mean, he can just pull back now. No reason to continue to attack there.
Ooh. Can we get a cancel on this hatch? It looks like no, as these lings get there in time. And another drop going off at the top there. Medevac barely survives. Oh my god. He does manage to get out with those as well.
Drop here in the main base is going to get shut down by the Spore Crawler. Picks up that medevac, so no checking out of this hotel for these Marines. Plenty of units if he's going to take him down. Sees the Hive, which is a nice scout there. And see there's dropping an extra couple factories here to kick in that siege tank production, and he really needs it. Like I mentioned before, he only had that 1 factory. When you're up against tons of Hydras with just bio, it's tough to trade well.
Yeah, and Hive is finishing up shortly as well.
Nice pick off there. There's a medevac that was mostly full picked off. Mia Micah has a lot of army supply. This Ling Hydra comp is very scary, and that has 1-1. Seether is about to have 2-2 though, with a big upgrade advantage in the second here.
Yeah, Mia Micah is raring to go, but Seether has a lot of stuff, and he will take the better trade as long as he doesn't get caught out. Uh-oh. Alright, he sees the army siege is up in time. He's going to start stimming back. No banelings to worry about. But the he's on top of most of his bow there.
Yeah, but there are a lot of tanks here, Zeph, and Mia Micah is overextending for sure, losing a lot of Hydras. Pulls back out of tank range to try and just engage the bio by himself. Not a bad idea there from Mio, but he bit off more than he could chew there. That Infestor did do a lot of splash damage, but the tanks demolished his army. And see, there's already starting 3-3. Mio barely starting 2-2.
Yeah, that is a lot of lost armies. Like double the resources lost of Seether at the moment. And Seether gets himself a 4th base, and looks like now's the time to push. He's got so many medevacs in the sky too. All these units have like a personal healer at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, God, that's so many lanes. Good old Mia Micah. Ultra Cabin's going down here, but keep in mind the Ultras are going to not have those scary upgrades for a hot minute. His +2 is only halfway done for the armor. And also, they're not having any melee upgrades. He's been upgrading the ranged attack for the Hydras. And I guess the Queens as well, technically. But this is the reason why a lot of Zergs generally like to get melee, is it makes Banelings stronger, Zerglings stronger, and Ultras stronger. But Mia's going to have some relatively squishy Ultras for a while here.
Yeah, he sure is. Once that 3-3 kicks in, I'm going to be a little bit spooked for Mia Micah, because that's like prime time for Seethers to start doing some damage. He's already heading out with a couple more drops. It's been pretty tricky for him to actually do any damage. Arrives at this base just in time. Should be able to get the cancel on if he drops now. Other locations have a spore. They have some units nearby, so it's a little bit hard to get some damage done.
Yeah, Mia's going to clean up these drops here. See, there's not really found any harassment damage, but he did have a very good engagement here, like exactly where Dad's camera is. The Hydralisk graveyard of Mia Micah in that area.
Gosh,
and that is a lot of tanks. See, that triple factory production is kicking into gear. Look at how many tanks there are. Mio has no Vipers. He has no Blinding Cloud, Zeph.
Oh, man,
this is going to hit, and it's going to hit hard.
Too. Yeah. And Mio's actually coming in from like 2 or 3 angles right now, but it's a bit disjointed. He, in fact, decides to dive for the reinforcements, while the other half of his army goes in towards the 3rd. And Seether kind of pulls back here. He doesn't really want to unsiege his tanks. He unsieges a few and heads out towards the 3rd base location to move Mia Micah out of there. And these Hydras can't run away.
And these Marines, they don't even have 3-3 yet. It's a second away from kicking in, but they are shredding these Hydralisks. The tanks are still alive as well. In fact, it looks like the Hydras might skirt past a few of them. Are sieged up. No, they changed their trajectory, pull back. And, you know, Mia is trying to get chitinous. He's trying to get some Ultras out. But again, these Ultras are going to be squishy, Zeph. And these tanks got +1 attack. And there's so many of them.
Finally putting some Banelings in the mix as well. That'll definitely help him out. But with the amount of tanks that are on the field and with all these sort of ridges, no Bane speed, it's going to be really hard to actually close the distance to the bio. And Mia Micah is trying to play the counterattack game right now. See what he can pick off. This base is lost. And he's actually coming in from behind with the Ultras. They're not quite beefy enough to do much yet. And these Hydras once again
Neo had like
out.
he had an alright looking engagement to the north-hand side, but Seether just brought everything back up to cleaning up the Ultras and just mopped up the rest of Mio's forces there in the middle of the map. And Seether, it looked a little dicey for him. I was a little, starting to break a little bit of a sweat, but Seether, cool, calm, collected, gets the W in the end. And that is our second 3-0. Zeph, we're done.
Oh my god. That was so quick. No. Oh, I'm not ready, man. We need a 3rd match. Let's move week 3 forward.
Can we start week 3 now? Are all the players ready for
yeah, man.
Look at Legacy and Vietnamese All-Stars. I mean, Vietnamese All-Stars is already here. Legacy was here a minute ago.
Yeah, we just need the other teams to submit.
We just need to get Downfall to log in. We can do week 3 right now.
Get it to go. Well, guys, it was a short and sweet night, but I hope you enjoyed the 6 matches that we did get to watch.
Yeah, all 6 of them.
Yeah, all 6.
Goodness.
With OSC taking the win over Legacy with the 3-0, and SYF taking 3-0 over Vietnamese All-Stars. Still undefeated, SYF are.
I feel like SYF are poised to really go the full distance here for this season. Wouldn't be surprised at all to see them get that Pro League big prize money. In fact, we do have the prize money, I believe. Production, if you can hit the prize money button and show everyone what we're playing for. There it is.
$3,000 dues split between all the teams from 1st to 5th place. So everyone gets a bit of cash money for playing. Of course, that'll be split between the players, or maybe it goes into a pool for events in the future. You know, it's up to them what they want to do with that cash money. But $1,500 for first prize is pretty juicy.
You know what? I am a very proud Australian StarCraft fan, because every other country's McDonald's is just a restaurant. For us, they're a restaurant and a sponsor. And with Blizzard always supporting the scene, Our local Blizzard has always been really supportive as well, running tournaments pretty much non-stop since the beginning of StarCraft 2 in our region. Not too bad being a StarCraft fan on the island from down under.
Too bad. And yeah, we get this awesome action between WCS seasons as well. So, especially now that it's the end of the year and everything's kind of winding down, or has wound down basically. I mean, we've had BlizzCon and everything.
Yeah,
It's
we're in
nice
the
to
off
have
season.
a team league.
What's going to be interesting as well is that in the middle of this team league, I believe the patch is going to get released as well.
Yeah, I think we'll be out before next week's match. Next
I think
Thursday.
I think the patch is out on the 20th. I think.
Yeah. So that'll be before. Yes, it will be before the next match. So that'll be interesting actually, because it'll be kind of our first taste, or at least my first taste of watching those sort of games. I don't know what sort of casting schedule you have. You might end up with some goods on the day, but
no idea. I mean, yeah. I haven't actually seen a whole lot of the balanced test stuff because I'm one of those people that kind of only cares about the ladder version, like the version
same.
that you play on ladder. And people get really excited over balanced test map and play a lot of balanced test map. I really never do, if I'm honest with myself. But I have seen a few things. I was watching Pig stream a little bit earlier today. Cyclones are going to be interesting going forward. Yeah. That unit's back to the way it was. Remember when Cyclones used to be able to lock onto a Nexus and then walk away and still be locked onto the Nexus and kill the Nexus? They do that now. They can do that again.
Yeah, we're returning to the glory days.
But with Pile and Overcharge going away and shield batteries being there instead, I actually think it's like not super bad. But I don't know. Anyway, I'm digressing. I'm looking forward to the new balance. I'm wondering how it's going to change things up. Obviously, it's going to make things quite different. The meta's going to change. Maps are going to change on ladder. I'm assuming we still play the same map pool for the rest of the season. It'd be weird to change the map pool in the middle of a tournament. But there's the standings right now. Downfall and SYF on equal standings with 1-1. 100% win rate so far.
Yeah, Legacy having a bit of a rough start to the season, but hopefully they can put some points on the board in future weeks. This is a 6-week tournament, I believe, all the way up to the grand finals. So plenty more matches coming. And while we have wrapped up for tonight, you must make sure to tune in for hopefully a bit of a longer stream next week again, same time, 8 p.m. AEDT. Same channel on the Blizzard_ANZ for all this ANZ Pro League action. And I believe Death and Maynard will be casting for you for a couple of weeks, as well as I will be elsewhere, and we'll have Insana returning to the Obsteds.
Oh, shit. Well, I'm sad to lose you, Zeph, but that is going to be a blast. I can guarantee you that Death and I always have a good time when we cast together.
Indeed, I'll be trying to catch those matches too, so I don't miss out on the action. I don't want to be left out, man.
Well, you know what the wonderful thing is about Twitch TV/Blizzard_ANZ? The VODs are not locked. You guys, anything that you get that you miss out on, just check it out on the channel. Easy peasy. We tweet all about it. I'm a big fan of ANZ Pro League, and I'm happy to be back again casting. I'm sorry I couldn't be here for the first week, but I was in Vegas with my wife.
Yeah, living it up.
Passionless.
Passionless, sucked, man.
Should have been on a plane going home to cast Pro League. What am I doing? Trying to have a holiday. Shame on me.
Indeed. All right, guys. That wraps it up for us for tonight. Join us again next week, 8 p.m. AEDT. Same place for the next round of matches as we continue with this round-robin format. For the Pro League, top 2 teams will be playing in the grand finals for the final week. Big thank you to Gamester, as always, for running our production, and to Death tonight for doing our observing in the absence of Insano.
Yeah.
Any last words from
really
you,
good job by Death as well. Passing thoughts, you mean? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, passing thoughts. Yeah. Last words.
I mean, I'm just really happy that Pro League is back. I stream my ladder adventures every day. I'm going to be doing it again tomorrow. So if you're interested, click on my name in Twitch chat and click follow if you don't already. I'll be doing that in the morning, and I'm going to cast replays as well. So it's going to be a good time, man. Plenty of StarCraft ahead. Great time to be a StarCraft fan. The history and landscape of StarCraft's changed. It's growing. It's wonderful. It's all good, man. I'm really excited about, War Chest, Pro League, all the good shit that's coming. The new maps, the new balance. I'm excited. Good
Yep.
times.
All good. All right, guys. We will catch you next time for more Pro League action. See you then.